There's a plant in this video that in documented cases has caused burns that behave like second-degree burns, without touching fire. It's sold as an ornamental herb at most nurseries. The tag doesn't mention it. Neither does the staff. Let that sink in. A plant you can buy between the basil and the lavender. No warning label. I'll show you exactly which plant it is before this video ends. But first, it's not alone. There are 8 plants on this list. All of them look beautiful at the garden center. All of them have tags promising low maintenance or spreads to fill problem areas. And all of them have a year 3 that the tag never shows you. If you've ever bought a plant because it looked gorgeous in the pot, this video is for you. Welcome to the garden center's least read section. The truth. Quick note before we go further, this video is educational, not medical advice. If you believe you've been exposed to a toxic or phototoxic plant, contact a medical professional or poison control. I've gone through research from university extension offices, cost data from professional landscaping services, and peer-reviewed medical literature. So you don't have to learn any of this the hard way. Sometimes that means a $5,000 bill or a trip to urgent care. Before we're done, you'll have 3 questions that take 60 seconds to ask before any plant goes in the ground. Here's the structure. Yard eaters, plants that spread beyond your property line without permission. Time thieves, plants that consume years of your weekends. And hidden hazards, including the burn plant, and one the ASPCA calls one of the 10 most dangerous garden plants for children and pets. One more thing. Number 3 on this list is sold everywhere as a shade-tolerant ornamental ground cover. It's now prohibited for sale in 4 US states. Keep that in mind. Let's start with the yard eaters. Your grandmother probably had a privacy hedge. Something native. The reason you don't remember it ever being a problem. She picked right. We stopped picking right somewhere along the way. Case file number 1. Running bamboo. Picture yourself at the garden center. You want something to block the view of your neighbor's fence. The staff points you to a tall, lush, exotic-looking plant. It grows fast, they say. Privacy in one season. So you buy a few. Lemonade on the porch, privacy achieved. Except here's what the tag doesn't say. Running bamboo spreads through underground rhizomes, horizontal root structures that travel 10 to 20 feet from the original plant in a single growing season. They don't respect your fence line. They don't respect your neighbor's fence line. They don't respect your patio. Year 3. Bamboo shoots come up on the other side of your fence, then through the edge of your patio, then in the lawn 20 feet from where you planted. There's a word for what you feel when bamboo comes up through your patio. Betrayal. You were promised low maintenance. According to Angie, average professional bamboo removal runs $875. Typical range, $450 to $1,300. But for extensive infestations, particularly in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, where bamboo has spread into adjacent properties, removal has cost homeowners between $5,000 and $30,000. That's not a typo. $30,000. For a plant, the tag called low maintenance. And here's what makes this even more frustrating. There's a version of bamboo that does everything you wanted, same screen, same speed, without any of this. The nurseries just don't always carry it. Let me show you which one. The right species is clumping bamboo, specifically the Fargesia genus. Tight clusters. Spreads only 4 to 6 inches per year instead of feet. Cold hardy in zones 5 through 9. Reaches 8 to 16 feet tall. Same privacy screen. No underground invasion. The lesson from running bamboo: beautiful doesn't mean contained. Case file number 2. Mint. I know what you're thinking. It's just a herb.
That's exactly what the tag wants you to think.
Mint is the golden retriever of the plant world.
Friendly, enthusiastic, impossible to contain,
Absolutely determined to be everywhere. Except the everywhere is your entire yard. Mint spreads through underground stolons, root structures that travel horizontally just under the soil.
Purdue University Extension calls out mint as a common example of plants that require container growing because of their spreading habit. In an open garden bed, mint colonizes a 6-foot radius in a single season.
By year 3, it's sprouting through cracks in pavement, coming up in vegetable beds, contaminating the flavor of whatever you planted next to it. You pull it and it comes back stronger. There's something genuinely exhausting about pulling a plant that doesn't care. Mint doesn't know it's unwelcome. It's just being mint. The fix isn't to skip mint. Grow it in a container sunk into the soil. The roots stay bound. The mint stays where you put it. If you want the same aromatic punch in a garden bed without the hostile takeover, grow lemon balm instead. Melissa officinalis. Same fragrance family. Dramatically better manners. Case file number 3. Bishop's weed. Bishop's weed, Egopodium podagraria, has a variegated version with green and white leaves that looks genuinely beautiful. It's sold across the country as an ornamental ground cover for shady problem areas. The tag often says, fills empty spaces, or low-maintenance ground cover. It does fill empty spaces. That part is true. It just doesn't stop there. Bishop's weed spreads through an aggressive underground rhizome system, forming dense, impenetrable mats that crowd out every other plant in the area, including native species your local ecosystem depends on. Vermont Invasives describes it as spreading quickly by underground rhizomes and eliminating competition. It was first documented escaping cultivation in Rhode Island in 1863. It's been spreading ever since. Currently, Bishop's weed is prohibited for sale and planting in Massachusetts, Vermont, Connecticut, and Wisconsin. If you live in those states, a nursery selling it to you is selling something you cannot legally plant. The cost to eradicate it ranges from $8,500 to $3,300, according to University of Illinois Extension. And it takes a minimum of 3 years of treatment to control smothering. Herbicide repeat applications. The safe alternative for shady problem areas is Allegheny spurge, Pachysandra procumbens, native to the southeastern United States. Shade-tolerant, stays where you plant it. Zones 5 through 9. Same problem, solved. No underground war. Now we move into the Time Thieves. These are plants that won't destroy your yard immediately. They'll destroy your weekends. For years. Plural. Case file number 4. Asian wisteria. Few plants are more breathtaking than wisteria in full bloom, cascading purple flowers that fragrance the kind of thing you see in a cottage garden magazine and immediately want in your yard. That feeling is real. Wisteria in bloom is genuinely one of the most beautiful things you can grow. That's exactly what makes this case so frustrating. Here's the truth about Asian wisteria. Japanese and Chinese wisteria in particular. Wisteria roots wherever a vine touches the ground. It grows back faster than weekly pruning can reduce it. Even with herbicide, it often takes 5 years to bring under control. It girdles trees, works undersiding, damages pergolas, gutters,
and any structure it can reach. You are not gardening when you have uncontrolled Asian wisteria. You are managing it indefinitely, every single weekend. The fix, and this one is actually beautiful, is American wisteria. Wisteria frutescens, native to the eastern United States. Same purple flower clusters, same fragrance, dramatically less aggressive, stays manageable. University extension programs from Virginia to Ohio recommend it specifically as the responsible alternative. Same flowers, no 5-year battle. Case file number 5. English ivy. English ivy is evergreen, covers bare ground fast, looks classic. The tag promises it requires no maintenance. 2 words that should always make you slow down and ask a follow-up question. It's technically true. English ivy requires no maintenance from you because it takes care of itself completely, including decisions you didn't authorize. You didn't ask it to climb your oak tree. University of Maryland Extension calls English ivy a highly aggressive invader that threatens all levels of forested and open areas. On the ground, it forms mats so dense nothing else grows through them. But the more serious problem is what it does to trees. English ivy climbs. Once it reaches the canopy, it adds significant weight to branches, making them vulnerable to breakage in storms. Over time, ivy-covered trees die from competition for light and resources and from structural stress. Removing established English ivy runs $85 to over $3,000 per site. The alternative covers ground, stays green, looks great, is Virginia creeper, Parthenarcissus quinquefolia, native to eastern North America, turns brilliant red in fall, supports birds, climbs without strangling. Case file number 6. Purple loosestrife. Purple loosestrife is stunning. Tall spikes of purple flowers blooming all summer. Looks like it belongs in a wildflower meadow. Attracts bees and butterflies, which makes people feel good about planting it. Here's the problem. A mature purple loosestrife plant produces up to 2 million seeds per year. 2 million. Per plant. Per year. That's not a rounding error. That's the design of the plant. Built to colonize. In wet areas, drainage ditches, ponds, low spots, purple loosestrife doesn't share space. It eliminates competition and transforms diverse plant communities into single-species monocultures. The native plants it replaces fed local wildlife. Purple loosestrife provides almost none. The USDA lists purple loosestrife as a federal noxious weed, banned or restricted in more than 30 states. California, Minnesota, Illinois, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont, Pennsylvania, Washington, and more. Illegal to purchase, plant, transport, or distribute. And yet it still shows up at garden centers. Illegal in over 30 states, still on the shelf. That gap is exactly what this video is trying to close. If you want the same vertical purple drama with real ecological value, plant native blazing star instead. Liatris spicata. Native to most of the eastern and central United States, supports specialist bee species that evolved alongside it. Zones 3 through 8. Now we get to the hidden hazards. The people who most need this information, young families, grandparents, anyone with kids running around in a yard, are also the least likely to know it. Case file number 7. Lily of the Valley. Lily of the Valley is one of the most beloved garden plants in America. Tiny white bells in clusters, sweet, delicate fragrance that means spring. The kind of plant grandmothers grow and brides carry. There's genuine love in that image. That's what makes the next part feel strange to say. It is also toxic throughout every single part of the plant. Lily of the Valley contains more than 30 distinct cardiac glycosides compounds that affect heart rhythm. The ASPCA Animal Poison Control Center ranks it among the top 10 most dangerous garden plants for dogs and cats. Even small amounts may be harmful to young children or small pets, with risk depending on amount consumed and body size. The berries it produces in late summer are red and attractive. Children reach for things like that. And this detail, if you have a bouquet of lily of the valley in a vase, the water itself contains leached cardiac glycosides. A child or pet drinking that water may be at risk. I share this not to frighten anyone who has grown it for years without incident. I share it because the risk is real and documented, and for families with very young children or small pets. It's worth knowing before, not after. If accidental ingestion occurs, call poison control at 800-222-1222. For pets, the ASPCA number is 888-426-4435. If you have young children or animals, this plant should not be in your yard. The alternative delicate hanging white flowers shade-tolerant spreads gently is Solomon's seal, Polygonatum. Non-toxic, native to North America, handles deep shade beautifully. Case file number 8. Rue. This is the plant I mentioned at the beginning. Rue ruta graveolens is a blue-green ornamental plant sold at most nurseries as a companion plant. An herb and a deer deterrent. Smells sharp and interesting. Looks like nothing you'd worry about. Blue-green foliage, interesting smell. Deer, stay away. What's not to like? Here is what the tag never tells you. Rue contains furanocoumarins, specifically bergaptan and xanthotoxin, present in the plant's sap, leaves and stems. When they contact your skin and you then go outside into UVA sunlight, a reaction begins in the skin at the cellular level. The result is called phytophotodermatitis. It looks and behaves like a burn, blistering, fluid buildup, deep redness, skin damage that can take weeks to heal. Reactions vary: mild redness for some, severe effects for others. In a documented case published in peer-reviewed medical literature in 2022, a patient developed burns classified as second degree across a large area of the body from rue contact, followed by sun exposure. That's the extreme end of the documented range. But the mechanism is real and present at every level of contact. The people most at risk are the ones most likely to brush against a plant while playing outside. Children. A yard is supposed to be safe. A garden is supposed to be where children play freely. A tag that doesn't disclose this risk doesn't tell the full story. If you want the same blue-gray ornamental foliage with similar pest deterrent properties, plant catmint instead. Nepeta. Similar silver-green leaves, similar aromatic properties. Long bloom season of soft blue-purple flowers that pollinators love. Completely safe for children and pets. If you already have rue wear gloves and long sleeves every time you handle it, especially on sunny days. Same precaution before mowing near it or letting children play close. The 3 questions. Every one of these 8 plants passed through a nursery and into someone's yard because the tag described it perfectly. Low maintenance, spreads to fill problem areas. Native friendly, ornamental herb. The tag shows you year 1. This video showed you year 3. Year 3 is the one that costs you. Sometimes in money,
sometimes in time, sometimes in something that matters more than either.
Before any plant goes into your ground from this point forward, 60 seconds, 3 questions. 1. Does this plant spread by rhizomes, stolons, or self-seeding? If yes, is there a clumping variety? Can it be contained? 2. Is it on my state's invasive species list? Search your state name plus invasive plant list plus the plant name. This is how you find out something is banned before you plant it. 3. Does it have phototoxic or toxic properties? Search the plant name plus phototoxic or toxic to pets. The nursery tag isn't required to tell you. The internet will. University extension programs from Purdue to Michigan State recommend exactly these 3 checks. Standard practice, not overcautious. 3 questions, 60 seconds, every time. These 8 plants aren't on this list because they're ugly. They're on this list because they were too good at being plants, and nobody told you what that meant in year 3. The nursery tag shows you the potential. This video showed you the reality. Gardening is supposed to be one of the most peaceful things you can do. A yard you feel safe in. A garden you actually understand. That's worth the full story. 60 seconds of research before you buy a plant. That's the whole ask. Which of these 8 surprised you most? Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. If research-backed gardening is what you're looking for, this channel is built for exactly that.